Ever wondered what the life of a cricketer is like behind the scenes? Well, you don't have to wonder anymore because we've got Cheteshwar Pujara and his wife Puja to spill the beans on exactly what it's like.
It was so inspiring for me that I felt that the story needs to be told.
This chat is all about the lives cricketers and their families lead. The highs that get you to ride as a professional cricketer and the lows that impact you not just as an individual.
When you are failing, you're failing as a family.
How it feels to be miles away watching your husband take body blows.
Oh my goodness, I'm not joking, I was sweating and shivering at the same time.
What running into the opposition coach in an elevator feels like.
I remember there was an incident, was it during the same series where Justin Langer did end up
Yeah, it was just, we were in the elevator.
What
He said,
happened?
oh, you're Pujara's family. And I was like, this time he's not going to get the better of us. And I was like, okay.
And some big reveals by Cheteshwar Pujara that you don't want to miss.
He's saying that I haven't retired and I'm not done yet.
So sit back and enjoy this episode of Talking Cricket featuring the Pujaras.
Hello everyone, welcome to this special edition of Talking Cricket, and today we're going to be discussing the brand new book, The Diary of a Cricketer's Wife, by two very special guests that I have beside me, Puja and Cheteshwar Pujara. Guys, what an amazing journey that you've displayed to everyone so far. Congratulations. I want to start with you, Pujara. You obviously, this is your journey together as one, but what was your first reaction to reading the book for the very first time?
Well, I was, to be very honest, I was nervous before reading the book. I actually didn't know what she had written because I told her that whatever you want to put out there, please feel free. You don't need to hide anything. You need, just because she has been journaling this since 2013, and when she started writing this, I told her that you write whatever you want. Once the book is finished, I'll just go through it. I'll have my views on what I feel about the book. But when I started reading it for the first time, I was very nervous, but it was very special moment for me, the way she has described everything in the book, starting from the first chapter about our courtship, the way things begin from 2012 onwards. And I've read it twice, and it feels like I can keep on reading this again and again. And this is something which is very special to me. This is very close to my heart because things which she has described in the book, those are the things which means a lot to me.
You know, I guess it would have been quite intimidating at first, opening up your life to the public. You know, it's something that I have experienced in my own way, obviously not as a partner, but as a child of a cricketer. We are taught from, well, I guess since the get-go, you do have to keep things private.
Yeah.
So to disclose your story together and your journey to fans and an audience would be intimidating, right?
Yeah, so the reason of course, we both have very private lives and we tend to, keep everything to ourselves. But his journey, like growing up and even like the courtship and here on, it was so inspiring for me that I felt that the story needs to be told. And no matter if you are a sports person's spouse, partner, a child, or anyone, any female, everyone can relate to the story. So I felt that this is a very inspiring story and it needs to be told because you have a lot of life lessons there. And I felt, it would just help a lot of people. So I was inspired and I thought, why not give it a try?
Absolutely. I want to go back to the start, though, of your relationship. You say in the book you had no idea about the life of cricket beforehand, but I want to know how you guys first met, how the courtship worked, and everything in between.
Yeah. Are you going to take it or shall I?
No, you start first, then I have my views because
And you go over.
Yeah, so I didn't know basically who Cheteshwar was and it's an arranged marriage that we had. Right? So I had a whole theory in my head that he's not interested, maybe he's joking about it. And Parents, yeah, and parents are just maybe wanting to, kind of get him married. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. So I didn't end up meeting him in the first, I met my father-in-law first because he was traveling for matches. And so I had a whole theory in my head as to, this guy doesn't care about it. And it's just his family, putting pressure or so. So let me get done with it and, like, my parents will stop, like, they'll stop being behind. Yeah. So I just had a whole theory in my head. And when we met, the theory was completely like, it was just like the whole glass just toppled over. And from the very first moment that we met, like the conversations that we had, it was so candid, honest, and at the same time, very, like, we were like as if, they were just two good friends. It was so spontaneous. And that's where everything began.
Oh, beautiful. Love at first sight.
No, not really. But at the same time, no assumptions, no agenda. When you're seeking a partner through an arranged marriage, there seems to be some sort of checklist that you have. Luckily for both of us, there was nothing like that. So that kind of really helped. Getting to know people as the person that is, rather than, kind of having a checklist that you want to tick off. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Totally understand what you mean. All right, we've got to hear from your perspective.
So the most important part for me was she didn't know anything about who I was, and I didn't want to marry a person because she likes me as a cricketer, because she didn't have any cricketing background and she didn't know what I was, she only knew that I was playing for the country, I was representing the country, but apart from that, she didn't have any cricketing knowledge, and that was the biggest positive for me, because I wanted to marry a person for who she is, rather than just the fame which I have. And when we, as Puja mentioned, when we met for the first time, the kind of conversations we had, it felt like we have the same wavelength. I was talking to a friend, and the kind of conversation which went on, it went on for about hour and a half. And that's when we thought that,
and then a month after that as well.
It carried on.
It just went on.
So the first meeting went for about an hour and a half. And then after that, we decided that we want to know each other a bit more. Then we spoke for about month and a half. And that's when we decided that, we get along really well, and she's the one for me.
What was it like when you first had your taste into the spotlight? I guess you would have been thrown into it and never experienced anything like that. And obviously with that comes a lot of scrutiny. How did you deal with that? And was it something that you had to go through together, or were you really kind of on your own, because you need to support your partner at the end of the day when they have a certain job to do, but you would have these big feelings as well of, what is this? What is this world?
So we got engaged, and next day it was just out everywhere in the newspapers. For me, it was very awkward in the sense that I was not prepared for it. I didn't have any, I thought, like, it's just an engagement, why would it just be out everywhere? And that kind of made me feel very awkward. But the good thing is he was around, and he's like, that's okay, you just don't need to, you just enjoy, like in the sense, like, we were spending a lot of time together, and we were just happy in our own bubble, or whatever you call it.
For sure.
So it was not very intimidating in the like just after we got engaged, but there was just a test series against England. Just very quickly after we got engaged.
206, I think you scored in
That's
that
correct.
series.
Yes.
Must have been so proud.
But I didn't understand the game. I was just clapping happily. And just smiling away. The good thing is
Go, sweetie. Right.
The good thing is he ended up scoring a double century. Imagine if he did not do that well, because I was just like, I didn't understand it. I was just happy and clapping around. So I think it worked out in a good way.
Well, I mean, you would have seen him score the 100 first, and how there's that big applause, and then you see it for the second time round of him lifting the bat and taking the helmet off, and that whole ordeal. So you got it twice in the first game that you attended as an engaged
in fact,
couple.
it was 3 times, because at the end of the day, his score was 98. All right, and then we had planned to only come for that particular day of the test match, and then we ended up staying another day.
Yeah,
so that
got
we could,
roped into another round.
Yeah.
What were you doing? Poor wife. She's freshly come into this and you've
No, I had
stitched her
to
up.
show my skills on the field. She should know. She didn't know anything about cricket, so she had to know that I am a good player. Because when we got engaged, her cricketing knowledge wasn't up to the mark, and
Hello, I didn't know anything, not
yeah,
up to
that's
the mark.
true. But which is a big positive. As I said, I didn't want my partner, to know a lot about the game. I didn't want her to advise me on the game because we
No,
wanted
well,
to.
that's your job.
Yeah.
And she's there to support you, and she has her own things as
Yeah.
well going on. So, you know, you have your both separate
Yeah.
special parts to you, I guess. Did you have to sit her down and go, okay, these are the rules? Or did you not have any of that?
Little bit of that. She will be able to tell a bit more, but yeah, from the time we got engaged and from the time we started traveling together, I told her that these are my times, these are the disciplines which I need to stick to. So I need to go to bed. If we are playing a test match, I need to go to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. And she's a night person. She, at the time when
Night
we got
owl,
engaged,
yeah.
she used to go to bed by 1 o'clock, sometimes 12 o'clock, and that wasn't acceptable for me. And she didn't disturb me. The good part is she supported me. She knew what was expected at the highest level. And that's the time when she started getting to know a cricketer's life, the kind of discipline which is required in a cricketer's life, especially when you're playing test format where the game starts early in the morning, you have to wake up early, you have to go to the ground early in the morning. And when I used to go to the ground, I never used to wake her up because she used to wake up somewhere around 9:30.
Well, if you're a night owl, you got to get your sleep in.
Yeah. But yeah, I would like Puja to tell a bit more about that because she's the one who has transformed from there, and now it's the other way around because I'm doing some media work now and I'm
you're
staying
still
awake
back.
at night and she goes to bed early.
Yeah.
But yeah, she can tell you a bit more. Yeah.
So I got to know a lot about discipline in the sense like just living a very disciplined life. We were pretty young when we got married. We were just in our 20s, mid-20s. And I did not know anything about like workout and, like eating clean, things like that. And just along the journey that we begun, like I started getting to know a lot of aspects of the game. And he told me on the very first tour, I believe that I'm here to play. It's like, it's my job. I'm here on a job. You can do whatever you want. You want to enjoy, you want to come to the match, you want to go out, explore the city. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I am here on a job, and that is to represent the country.
Absolutely.
So I have to have 100% focus. I have to 100%, my attention has to be there. So we would just get to grab a dinner together, frankly. Just like a quiet dinner together. And because it's a 5-day match, right? So, so you got to come back and just recover for the next day. And some days it will be good days, some will be bad. So, yeah.
And you got to learn how to reset. I definitely have experienced that
Yeah.
from my dad of, you might have a really terrible day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad opened the batting. So if he had a bad day,
Yeah.
everyone would know about it.
Yeah.
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 But it's such a disciplined test cricket. You really have to stick at it from hours on end. And you would have seen that when he made the 206 in England. You've got to stay at that job at task, but then also learn to let go. How were you that support for him when he would have those bad days? What was your go-to in your relationship of forgetting about it, moving on? Was he not reliant, but you know what I'm trying to say? More.
Yeah. So I completely
leaning on
get it.
you.
On most days, he would want my silence.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I had some disappointments as well. In the sense, you feel bad, right, when things are not going for the team, or for your partner also, in the sense that they're not going well on the field. So all I had to do is just, before the end of the day, I had to, get myself together, like let go of my emotions and just...
Well, that's the thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have emotions about the day too.
Yeah.
But you have to just let it go.
So I have to let go. I have to just be, at the end of the day, I just want him to get a good version of me, in the sense that if he needs to talk, he will. If he needs his quiet, I give him his quiet. And whatever is the need of the hour, I'm just here to support you when I'm with you, or even when I'm not traveling. I would just like drop in a message. I'm here. If you need to, like.
But if not,
I'm here as well. Like just So sometimes all you can do to help is just be there, in the sense that if they need silence, just give him the silence. If he needs advice, and there are plenty of people to give you the advice. So I think as a partner, my job was just to kind of make him unwind, just have a nice meal, talk about everything other than the game, because anyway you are going to be doing that
the next day and the next day
and the next day. Yeah, that's true. So on most days it was like quiet and just a good distraction about something that is maybe your hobby, just life. Yeah, that's
And then bringing your daughter into this world, she's so beautiful, by the way. Congratulations, guys. But how was that dynamic then changing for you guys when she came into the picture?
For me, that was the best part of our life. Although I would say it was a bit more challenging for Puja because I wasn't around all the time and she couldn't travel all the time. But whenever she could, we used to have a great time. But at the same time, I never wanted a sleepless night while I was playing.
You have to be selfish at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was a bit more. I told her that we'll have separate rooms when we are traveling. And that was a tough.
You're like, what the heck? I didn't sign up for this.
So as he mentioned, like because when we had our little one, that is when traveling for me became a little bit challenging, in the sense that I had to pick my tours, I had to pick the places. If I want to go, not want to go. I was all on my own, by the way. He would be like, I really need to focus on the series here, and if you can tag along, fair enough. If not, then you can just stay back home. So it is challenging to raise a child, especially he was in his at the peak of his career when our daughter was born, and he had to really, it's just back-to-back matches, back-to-back series. So it was challenging, but at the same time, it was all worth it because you're going there to represent your country. And I know when he's back home, he's going to be there 100%. No questions asked. Like, you want me to do the drop-off, I'll do. You want me to do the diaper change, whatever you need. Once I'm home, I'm there 100%. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some photos on the screen here of your beautiful family together, but being able to switch off in those times where you have the off season would be so special. And even myself, I know that with my dad and my relationship, I cherish those moments so much because you do understand that your dad or your partner is away and they have a big job to do. But when you're home, it's the best feeling in the world because you can start to share and they're involved and they can come to your school play or read you a book at night or go watch you play your sport. It's where the special memories of just your family are together.
It is, and for me, after 2018, when Aditi was born, I mean, I can't say it's a good part, but 2019 there was COVID and most of us were at home and we didn't play a lot of cricket at the time, and that was the time where I was at home and I'd spent quality time with Aditi and Puja. It was a kind of a blessing for us at that time just to be away from the game for a bit. I know it was quite a challenge all around the world, and I shouldn't be using this word that it was a blessing for us, but in a way it was, because when you're at home, being a professional cricketer, you're traveling throughout the year. But if you are at home for, say, 3 to 4 months and you get to spend a quality time with the family, that definitely helps.
Yeah, and that is so rare, hey? It's just one of those things. It's part of the gig.
She's just it was 2020, by the way, and she just started learning to talk like full sentences. So it was a very, very that milestone, like when
a pivotal
she's
time in her
after 2
childhood.
years. She's 2 years old, so she's just picking up a lot of things, and it was quite and it was we had a great time together.
Highs and lows are a big part of this sport and any sport. How did you manage to work through that as a unit, would you say?
So when I got into his life, there were a lot of highs. So it was only 2014 when we traveled to England and New Zealand. Just before that is when I kind of first experienced the lows that you call. Of course, for him, through him and the team, right? So and there was a lot of public scrutiny, everything. So but what happened at that stage was that we had already spent a lot of time together, and we understood that the relationship, it was so strong by then that I knew that, okay, this is a phase and it will go as well. But you just have to kind of, put your head down, do the things that you're supposed to do. And by you, I mean me as well. Just be there for him in the way he needs me to be there for him, rather than the way I want to be there for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I by that time, we had this understanding wherein he had kind of educated me a little bit of, how things work. And you just got to keep calm and, just ride the wave, because you will have good days ahead too.
And just to add on, I felt that that was the time where I needed her support the most, and she was very supportive. I do remember that after 2014, the Indian team was going through a transformation. There was a lot of importance of fitness. So what she had done was she did a course for the nutrition. So she helped me with my diet. After that, whenever I had to train, she did motivate me that these are the things which you should do to get better in your fitness.
Yeah.
And even apart from that, when you are failing as a family. And that's how she looked at it. And she felt that even when I'm failing, the way to come back is to work hard on the game, to be still follow the same process, not to get bogged down by whatever is being said. And even when you are failing, that's the time when you need a lot of positive talks, and that's the time when she started telling me positive things, that you have played this game, you know this game, and this is the time where you just, if you can deal with your failures, and if you can come out positively, then you will eventually be successful. So it wasn't the cricketing technical aspects, but the mental aspect of the game. Or there are times where you are just worrying about what is being said about you, and then she told me that you don't need to worry about that. We are there to support you.
Totally. And I mean, you're only human at the end of the day. I feel like so many people forget that at times, of you are going through that mental battle, and it can sometimes be a block, and shifting as a unit. I loved how you described that, is so important in getting through those hard times. And sometimes your family are genuinely the only thing that'll be able to get you through.
Yeah.
And having that together is so beautiful. I want to talk about 2018, 2019 in Australia. That was also quite a difficult time. How did you guys navigate getting through that?
2018,
2019 in Australia.
All right. The first time India won the Border Gavaskar Trophy in 2018-19, yeah? All right. So I did not travel on that tour because a child was just about 10 months old, and she was almost like walking, the crawling, walking phase.
Were you there when she walked or no?
No.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah. So he missed
Such
that.
a hard time to have to discover, oh, she's walked for the first time.
Yeah. So she was at that phase, and I couldn't travel. And unluckily, what happened is, after the first match, just before the second match, Cheteshwar's dad had to get an ablation procedure done. And that was like a very, very crucial time, because one, I couldn't, bother him with any more. He had a lot on his plate, in the sense it was a very important series. They had started off really well as a team, and they were looking to win the series. And he had to get an ablation procedure done, and I had to wait for at least another 10 days or so to kind of break the news that your dad has had an episode of tachycardia, and because of which we'll have to get this done, and the sooner we get it done, the better it is. So I left my daughter behind with my parents. He was in Sydney, and me and my father-in-law traveled to Bombay to get a procedure done.
Wow.
And when we just were getting on the plane, he had come into bat. I had to put the phone on flight mode, and the entire flight we both were anxious for multiple reasons. There's a medical procedure to be done, he's batting, the series win, so many things in our head. And and then luckily when we got down to Bombay, he was still batting, and when we reached the hospital, he was nearing a century. But it was a very, very crucial phase of our lives. And both of us had to really step up, in the sense, there were challenges. He had a minor niggle during the second test match. hamstring niggle while running the third or the second run. So.
No, it was one of the best series I've been part of. Although there have been multiple problems at home, but she handled it really well. I didn't know anything about my father's health. I only got to know on second day of the Sydney Test match.
Yeah.
So he was sick after the first Test match, wasn't it? Yeah, there was first or second.
You got to know between the break in at Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah.
Just around the New Year's time, just before the
there was a lot to process for me, being away from home, and there were times you start getting thoughts that do I have to be home, do I need to travel back? But she rest assured me that she was in charge, she knew what she was doing, and even the doctors, she was in touch with the doctors, so they knew that what they were doing, and I could still focus. Yeah, I trusted. I mean, even if I was there, I couldn't have done anything more.
Exactly. But I mean, for you, you have obviously a job to do, so you're having to hide that, the anxiety around that, but then eventually telling you this is what's going on back home, and then you have to go out and bat for another time.
Yeah.
Was that on your mind when you were playing out that innings?
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it was. But at the same time, I knew that the best thing I could have done at that time was to, one is when you're representing the country and such a big series is on the line, then you try and focus on what is there at hand, because if you keep thinking about that while you are batting, then you are not going to do justice to the game, and even just by thinking my father is not going to get better. So I knew that Puja was around, so that was a big relief for me, and I just tried being in the present, try focusing on the game, and then when I was batting, I was just batting. I had to completely switch off my thoughts. The moment I start thinking, then I start getting worried. So I told myself that the only time I'll think about my dad is at the end of day's play. So the moment the day was over, I was looking for my phone. I just texted. I had to get an update from Puja. Yeah.
There was also another time where you overheard that you were potentially going to be dropped in Perth, and you in the book, it was mentioned that you didn't tell Puja about it for protection. What was that like to withhold sort of information like that?
Well, it was a tough time. I had overheard someone talking about it, and that is something which I couldn't control. And for me at that time was to get fit as soon as possible, try and focus on the next game, because I knew that I was batting well. First Test match went really well. Indian team won the first Test match. It was the second Test match where I was struggling a bit injury-wise. So there was enough time in between the second and the third Test match where I had to work on my fitness. I had to work with our physio. Patrick was our physio at that time. So I was spending a lot of time in the physio room. And I didn't tell much about that incident to Puja. So I was just, I didn't even step out to get my food. I was just, all 3 days, I was just within my room, within the physio room, and I tried resting as much as possible. And at the same time, I was doing my rehab. And I knew that once I'm fit, once I play the next match, then things will turn around. And I knew that series was on the line, and I had an important role to play. And luckily, I was part of the playing 11. I played that Test match. I performed well. So that is something which matters. I don't pay too much attention on what is being said, because there are times you have enough support system, and there are times where people will have different opinion about you as a player, you as a person. So the moment you start paying too much attention on what has happened, it doesn't help, because you always have to look at the bigger picture. When you are representing the Indian team, everyone's goal is to win the series in Australia. I mean, for us at that time, it was a big moment, because India had never won a series in Australia, and that was the first ever opportunity. And I just tried focusing on that rather than worrying about anything else.
COVID was such an interesting time for everyone in this planet. We all stopped for a certain period of time, but cricket obviously changed as well with that. You know, families couldn't travel as much. There was a whole bio bubble situation, so we were all very isolated from the rest of the world, in particular the players, for your own safety and health. But at that time, it was obviously quite challenging for you. You had to watch your husband take a few blows, like a champ, I will say, but you had to take a few blows. What was that like, experiencing it away and at home and going through the emotions not being there with him?
So we had to leave because my sister was getting married. So just before the start of the second practice game, we were leaving for India, and I thought I gave him my two-piece advice. I shouldn't have, and I told him it wouldn't be the same as last time. I don't think they will allow you to score that freely because they've really studied your game. But just survive, and
whatever you want to do.
Just survive, and I think the rest would be taken care of. And because I was leaving that day, so I just got a nod rather than a stare or maybe a lecture. So why would you advise me on cricket? There are a lot of people who can. So having said that, I left for India, and come the first test match, India lost badly and 36 all out. It was everywhere in the news, everywhere that India is going to lose 4-0. And after that, the Melbourne test match happened, and India won that match, right? And all the time the focus was, I want to do well. And so the conversations that he was having with me is, there are a lot of injuries that are happening, and I want to, really do well, contribute, because there was a lot of hunger. It was the first time in his life that he'd not played for 6, 7 months, 8 months at a stretch.
Long time.
Long time. It had never been since he was maybe 7, 8 years old. He had never stopped playing cricket for all that while. And there was a lot of fire in him to, kind of do well. And after the Melbourne game, he ended up getting injured on the index finger. And I remember over a conversation, he told me that I think I have a hairline fracture here, but I'm not going to go for the scans. And I was like, why would you do that?
Trying to be the tough guy.
Yeah, and I was like, why would you do that? And I was like, that gives me all the more, nervousness that you are injured. And he's like, no, but the team is having a lot of injuries and I cannot afford to get injured. I was like, it's not something you can control.
No.
And because he had not fared relatively well in the first 2 test matches, so he's like, now I'm getting my rhythm back and I'm really raring to go. Come the Sydney test match, and it was such an interesting draw, and he had particularly done well or whatever, and the body blows also had started coming in. It was not as much as it was in Brisbane, but the body blows. Yeah, it was just like a trailer for what's to come.
Yeah.
And it was so scary because I was having really because of the wedding preps at home, I was having really long days. I would wake up at 4 in the morning and then just watch the match, and then after that I would just go help my family with any help they needed. Again, COVID times, so restrictive, timetables.
I'm sure all of them are asking you, what's happening? What's this? What's that?
Yeah.
You're living it day by day.
Yeah, and I'm like, and so it was very anxious, but just trying to get by one day at a time. But the good thing was, as a team, they were so motivated, and they were so that fire. They're all pumped up that we will win because we are written off. So now this from here you only have a ladder to climb.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting time, and then comes Brisbane. And oh my goodness, I'm not joking, I was sweating and shivering at the same time. I don't know how it happened.
But you were doing both.
But I was doing both. I was shivering and sweating at the same time.
Fever by cricket.
Yeah, and I was like, and I just put our child in the cot, and I put a pile of toys, and I was just like, I said, play. I am just watching the match.
I can't deal with this right now.
I can't. This is just, it's too many emotions, too much nervousness.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, they played so well, and even though he had the body blows, the calmness on his face and the demeanor was like, I will fight you. I'm not going to back down. And
come at me.
Yeah, and it gave me so much of pride and gratitude because, these are the days that actually, the Gabba test match is remembered. Like it's just for the books, right? But, and then him playing such an important role. So it gave me a lot of pride. But I was like, how is he going to, recover from his injuries?
Let me ice it for you from afar.
Yeah.
For me, being a cricketer, it felt like I didn't have enough time to prepare before the series. Although I did prepare, but it was limited because of the COVID. And the moment we got into the first test match, I felt I was batting well, but it was the rhythm which you are looking for as a cricketer, as a batter, which wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I needed some more time, and there came the second test match. Things were going very quickly, but at the same time, within the team, everyone was very confident that we can make a comeback after losing the first test match. And that's what happened. We made a comeback in the second test match. So things were going strongly for the team. But for me personally, things were not going as per the expectation. Like Puja did mention that she did warn me. And I didn't take it very seriously because I knew that if I am successful over there.
That's her advice.
Yeah,
Wow.
she did. And even I remember there was an incident, was it during the same series where Justin Langer did end up meeting
It
her?
was just, we were in the elevator.
What
He said,
happened?
oh, you're Pujaras family. And I was like, this time he's not going to get the better of us. And I was like, okay.
And
that's when
such a sweetheart. Oh, I just love JL to be.
and just like a very, it was just an elevator conversation.
Yeah.
And he just gave that smile, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, I have to, like let it out there, and I have to give my two words of
cents. Exactly.
So that's why she ended up advising me that because
Right, so it was because of
Because-
JL
yeah.
that she gave you. Did she
Yeah.
tell you? But it was because of JL at the time.
did you know? I don't think
He
she
has a
did
bad
tell it.
memory.
Yeah.
So
I can't
he has
remember.
bad
Well, that's
memory.
why you're writing the book, right?
Correct.
You've got the memory. You're living the.
But I need to forget.
story.
If I have to be on field, I can't remember what has happened in the past.
No.
Who's telling
Yeah.
what? Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. We all have our own strengths.
Yeah, that's true. But coming back to the second test match, when I had some injury in my index finger, and that was the time where I felt that even if I had a hairline fracture, there's nothing I can do about it, because only thing I can do is to protect my index finger and still carry on playing, because even if there was a fracture, I didn't have the room to not play in the 11 and then miss out on an important series. And I didn't disclose that much even within the team, because only the captain and the physio knew about my injury. But apart from that, not many players were aware that I had a
Fracture.
Yeah.
Sure.
And just to let you know, it was actually broken. There was actually a hairline. That is after the series. He comes home and he's like, let's go get it examined.
Let's actually
By
stay
the time now it's healed. It's almost towards recovery.
I want sympathy now. I played well. I want to just know that I had a fracture and I played
And she
well.
can write in the book that I had a fracture.
Yeah, jot it down. I love it. What about when you actually were in that moment of getting the body blows? What it was like you were in a meditative state. Can you describe that moment for you?
Well, I was, as you are mentioning, that it was a state of mind where you are not worrying about what's happening around you. There were a lot of body blows, but I was aware that since the series was on the line, it was one of the most important phase of the series. And I knew that if I can handle those body blows, at least for first and second session, then our time will come, the Indian team's time will come. So I had to just resist myself and not to think about the blows, and then just try and be in the present, just try and face each and every ball. But that was a tricky pitch, because that was the blows were because of the pitch, I felt, and it wasn't. If I was playing on another surface, I could have left few of the balls, but that was the pitch where from back of length the balls were rising a bit more. I couldn't judge the bounce of that pitch, and it was the 5th day. So I knew that the conditions will improve once the ball gets little older, and my strategy was to not try and play those balls, because those were the rising deliveries, and if you end up playing those balls, you will end up getting out. You might nick one odd ball can hit your gloves and you can get caught somewhere else. So I was sure that I didn't want to play those deliveries, and my strategy was very simple, that I'll take it on my body, and there will be a time where I'll be able to attack and then play my natural game, but I'll just have to survive in those moments, try and deal with it. Until first 2 or 3 blows, I was fine, but after 3rd and 4th blow, I was in a lot of pain. That was the tough time. That was the time where I had a lot of thoughts in my mind that what if something happens to me? What if I have another fracture? What if I end up getting hit on the same spot where I was fractured? And it did happen actually. If you remember, one of the Hazelwood's delivery did hit me on my finger, and I was in terrible pain, and I couldn't bear that.
Through the bat. Yeah,
Yeah, I had to throw my bat. And it was my fractured finger, and not anyone.
And no one else knew but you.
Yeah.
This is my fractured finger.
Yeah, and after that, I couldn't even lift my bat. I had to hold the bat with 3 fingers, and that was the most challenging part, because after that I was set and I knew that now is the time where I can play attacking shots and this is the time to cash in, but I couldn't. I just had to survive. But the good part was I was having good partners at the other end. Rishabh was playing his natural game. Shubman played really well. So the guys at the other end could take the lead role. They started playing their shots, and I told them that I'll just have to be there. I can't do much with my batting anymore. I can just defend and try and time the ball.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to play a lot of attacking shots now because I can't hold the bat properly. But after that, things went well. There was a good partnership, and after the tea time, unfortunately I got out, but the other players took responsibility and they played really well, and we ended up winning that test match.
So there's a clip that we want to show you and get your reaction from. It's Rohit Sharma and his comments in a press conference saying, Pujara, he's not done yet. I want to get your reaction on this.
Yeah.
पुजारा राजकोट में छुपे रहते हैं, उनसे मुलाकात उतनी होती नहीं है, बट क्रिकेट के फील्ड में कहीं ना कहीं तो हो ही जाती है. अब मेरे को मरवाओगे मैं ऐसे बोल रहा हूँ कि ये तीनों रिटायर हो गए. पुजारा भी रिटायरमेंट उसने अनाउंस नहीं किया है यार.
What's your thoughts on that? I see a big smile over there.
Yeah, he's just mentioning about me hiding out in Rajkot. But now I've started traveling a lot. I'm doing media work as well, so I'll end up meeting Rohit in Mumbai. But he's saying that I haven't retired and I'm not done yet. And I would agree to that. This is the phase where I'm still enjoying my cricket. I will carry on playing the cricket. But yeah, that is something I'll think about the retirement part a little later. But at the moment, I'm someone who likes to live in the present. For us, the current focus is the book. Puja has worked hard on the book, and I hope that we get a good results going forward regarding the book.
Puja, I want to hear your favourite excerpt from the book. Can you read one of the moments for us?
Actually, is it okay if I read the author's note, because it really sums up the book? Yeah,
and totally.
Yeah, so I would just, if you don't mind, I'd just like to read the author's note, because it kind of gives you a glimpse onto what it is.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just start then. Cheteshwar Pujara is a man of few words and even fewer expressions. If a smile can do a job, he prefers not to speak. If a sentence can end in 3 words, he will not attempt to add another. It is a complaint I have had against him for the longest time. My husband is stubborn yet accommodating, secretive but with nothing to hide. He's spiritual without being sanctimonious and loves cracking silly jokes. For someone who has travelled around the world, overcome incredible hardships and enjoyed unprecedented success, he's not very social. Yet, despite his reserve, he never says no to anyone, even if the request is made by a stranger. He will always go that extra mile, sometimes at personal cost. He does not know how to relax, but is always at peace. Cheteshwar has seen the worst of times, days of intense despair, yet he does not know how to share his troubles or lighten his load. He keeps things bottled up, but has it in him to let go. He is not the greatest ever batsman to play the game, but his journey is truly unique, one that I've had the privilege to be a part of and witness from close quarters. I truly believe that there's something for everyone in the Cheteshwar Pujara story, and that's why I've taken the time to write the book.
Thank you so much, guys. It's honestly been an honour to sit down and chat through your journey together. Your partnership, you're not out yet. It's such a beautiful love story, and the journey that you've been through together as partners, but then you've also got your beautiful daughter with you along the way as well. I'm so excited to see how this book sells. It's out now for anyone who's wanting to read the book at home. You can go and grab it. I'm so excited to read it myself because I can just relate to so much that you guys are going through. I was saying before, my mum would get along with you so well, Puja. But thank you so much for sitting down and chatting to me today. It's been a great chat.
It's
Pleasure.
a
Good luck with
pleasure.
everything.
Grace. Thank you.